what has he been doing for 5 years?
Yeah.
That's a lot of time in Star Wars. Let's try it again. Nope, that didn't work.
No.
Let's try it again. Nope, that didn't work. Let's try. Nope. Have fans speculating that a new Star Wars project may soon be announced. It's the Great Circle. Circles are everywhere. They're taking over. Some of the scenes in Star Wars are matte paintings, and I did not realize it. I had to immediately tweet about this because my jaw was 3 stories down on the ground.
May the Force.
The Force.
The Force will be with you. Always.
Welcome to Star Wars Uplink, your place for everything Star Wars gaming, the shows, and the movies. I'm your host, Sage Goodwin, and as always, I'm joined by Sydney Laurel. Who is your favorite Star Wars character?
You're just throwing that at me right
Yeah.
now? I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe R2-D2.
R2-D2. That's
He's
a good
pretty
choice.
solid.
Completely unrelated. Today, we're going to be talking about Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Cole Monahan has some more details for us, and we're going to talk about some copyrights for 3 new Star Wars movies. So, let's jump in.
Just you reconsider playing that message for him.
Star Wars Jedi Survivor is coming up next year. That's right. Next year, we're getting Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and it's pretty exciting.
Mm-hmm. It's coming up.
Coming up quick.
Early next year?
It didn't get technically delayed.
Okay.
But it hasn't gotten fully announced, I don't think, right?
Yeah, it seems like by now, if it wasn't something in our heads now, it's probably not officially stated.
So it's coming 2023, probably in the holiday season, if it sticks to what the first one came out in, because I think that was late October, early November-ish. I think that was the time frame of Jedi Fallen Order.
It's a good time.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I think Star Wars works so well in that November 15th, so the middle of November is when it came out. This is the before times, before the COVIDs and all of that fun stuff.
Wow.
But yeah, I think just Star Wars suits so well in that holiday season. Obviously, the originals came out in the summertime. Summer is like the big movie push. That's when all the big blockbusters come out. But I think Star Wars just suits so well the holiday season. I know we have some friends that would go watch a movie for Christmas, and that's the one that they would watch, is the Star Wars that came out. So definitely, I think it works well. But this is what Cole Monahan had to say in a interview. Quote, "It's really exciting to be able to play around in the Star Wars universe again and to portray Cal. Not only to portray him, but also to develop him and find him different." Cole Monahan said, "This story takes place 5 years after the first game, and we see a change in him between that time. The story challenges him in ways that really test and develop him into someone that grows and shifts in ways that I think are really exciting and complex." So that's the first piece of news, or kind of details around this game. It's set 5 years after the first one. So that puts us in the time frame of we're deep in the beginnings of the Empire. We're seeing the rise of Palpatine's control and order with the Galactic Empire, which I think is an interesting time frame. I think we're going to see a lot more of a weathered. I mean, he was obviously weathered in the first one, but he was on a run. He was on the defense, and I could see him being more on the offense, of being a lot more proactive in his place in the galaxy, and just seeing firsthand what has happened to the Jedi. Because, I mean, he went through Order 66, he went through the rise of the Galactic Empire. We see him in that one kind of regain his connection to the Force. In this one, he has that connection. But what does it mean for him searching for these younglings and these Force sensitives Actually, no, they didn't, because he destroyed the holocron. So
did he destroy it?
He destroyed it.
So what is he doing?
Exactly.
And what
I
has
think that's
he been
exciting.
doing for 5 years?
What has he been doing for 5 years?
Yeah.
That's a lot of time in Star Wars.
I think it's exciting, and I actually think that they allude to it in their teaser trailer. Like even I felt like something's different, and
It's
Cal,
darker.
yeah, Cal himself is different. Like it feels like you've grown up, and I'm not sure. Like we're not getting the same Cal.
No,
Yeah.
and that's super exciting, because I think we all were wondering what happens after Fallen Order, because we all knew there was going to be a second one. Like it performed so well, it changed the tide of what EA expected a Star Wars single player game to be doing. Like I think it sold 11 million copies, that's pretty good.
I'd say so.
It's pretty dang good. So we all knew that there was going to be one. They end it very openly, but I think it was a lot more hopeful when they ended it.
Yeah.
And this trailer, I think they found the perfect time frame to where we see that weathered, almost broken, darker Cal.
Yeah. Do you think they're going to focus more on the past that we haven't seen, like those 5 years, or do you think they're going to balance like a story, or are they just going to be like, I don't know. If you have such a time jump, it feels like you can't not mention it at least, but
I think it'll be mentioned, but
Yeah.
I think what would be really cool is if they just jump into the stories. Classic Star Wars, they hop into the story and we're strung into the middle of things. They don't explain it all. You have to figure out what exactly happened to Cal through the course of the actions that you take in the game.
that would make sense.
I think that would be really fun.
And I guess that's kind of what I was asking. It's like, do you feel like it's going to be that you're going through this present by like, and
I don't
because you're going through it, you're unfolding what happened, or do you think you're just going to be jumped into a new story and kind of told, this is kind of what happened? Now we're on a new track.
We saw a lot of flashbacks in Fallen Order.
Yeah.
I think they've matured in their storytelling, and Cal as a character has matured, that it doesn't necessarily fit exactly, because obviously this is taking a lot of assumptions, but looking at the teaser trailer, hearing that this is a very different Cal and that he's grown in many different ways, that leads me to make the assumption that they are upping the level of the storytelling, hopefully, to be a lot more advanced, because you have to. I think that's something that's super great with video games, is the sequels are usually better. And that's not something that happens in like TV shows or movies.
No.
TV shows a little bit more.
Yeah.
But like movies, the second one, at least historically, isn't always the best.
So do you think, so the voice actor, that's who they were interviewing.
Cole Monaghan, yes.
So Cole is saying that he's excited to play around in Star Wars again. Does he have a lot of say in the creation or like the story or like the character of Cal Kestis?
Historically, actors do have some sway on how they portray the characters. They're going to add different things. We look at something like, I think it was in Stranger Things, Eddie. His actor brought a lot of things to the character, as well as Vecna's actor. He brought a lot of things to the character that the Duffer Brothers hadn't originally kind of planned out, but he was able to add his flair to it.
Interesting.
So I think that's something that a lot of, obviously they have the story of the path that they want to go, and I think Cole will have a little bit more, Cole and me, man, just referring to his first name. I think he'll have some sway in terms of how that's delivered, and it may not work for his view of the character. And video games are very collaborative. It's a lot of back and forth. It's a lot of testing things out. So I definitely think he has more of a chance to sway the character in the ways that we'd want him to.
Especially just seeing how much they've based him off
exactly.
of, like,
they didn't have to make it
the
exactly
same.
him. Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's going to bring a lot to the character that will be good and bring in that like little bit of a grittier feel. The next part of the quote that I think is even more exciting. Quote, "This is a character that obviously he's part of the Star Wars canon now, and I would like to see him in plenty of different contexts. Ooh. There's a lot of story to tell with him. He is a unique person in this universe, and we can explore something with him that I don't think has been explored with other characters before. So that's an exciting thing, and I hope people enjoy what we did with them because it was a joy to be able to do." Now, I think the thing that gets me so excited about this is he's not like, oh, well, we'll see how it goes. He's like, no, I want to be in all of the Star Wars things. Mm-hmm. I want to have... I mean, we've said this how many times? Yeah. It'd be great to see Cal in a TV show. He could totally make a tie-in to if they do a second season of Obi-Wan. He could, depending on the time frame, do something in Ahsoka. They're exploring a lot of the time frames, or even Andor.
Yeah.
That
would make a lot of sense.
Awesome.
Ooh, what with all the kids and everything.
Mm-hmm. Andor?
Or am I thinking of something else?
You're thinking of the Jude Law one, Skeleton Crew.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Andor is the Cassian Andor one. Yeah.
Right.
That's coming up in August, so really soon we'll have another Star Wars show breakdown. It's always exciting. Yeah, so we have... I didn't even consider it. He could make an appearance or at least tease on Andor. I think the timeline matches up. That's got the wheels turning. But I think we all expect this to be a pretty decently sized series. Hopefully, Star Wars Jedi is the game series that breaks the 2-game curse that seems to be plaguing Star Wars. I mean, even Knights of the Old Republic 1, Knights of the Old Republic 2, there was no Knights of the Old Republic 3.
No.
Jedi Knight, there are only 2 of those. Mm-hmm. Battlefront, there was 1 and 2.
Oh, gosh.
And then 10 years, 15 years, 10 years. And then we got Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2 again.
Oh, my gosh.
They're as bad as Steam now. Or Valve. They're as bad as Valve now. Hopefully, Star Wars Jedi, the series, is the game that actually breaks the 2-game curse that seems to be plaguing EA Star Wars games. Because I think, or maybe they expand it more. I would love to see the video games and the movies and the TV shows be much more of that cinematic universe type thing. I think there is so much to Cal's character and the world that they created and the flavor of Star Wars that they can add to other things. That would just be so great.
My only worry is that they would just crush everything. Like, I don't know. I haven't been impressed, obviously, with the shows. Hopefully,
we both haven't been.
Yes.
But hopefully if they did do something with like the video game people, that they would actually be involved in it somehow. They're working with Lucasfilm, obviously. But if like the core people of the video game franchise, the Respawn people, aren't involved in that, I think they should be or should have been, or hopefully they are, because I think they truly know, one, the feel of Star Wars, the characters that they're playing around with, and they add cameos in ways that actually suit the story. So good. Mm-hmm. And they'll stand up to Lucasfilm and be like, no, screw you, we're making a Jedi thing.
Yeah.
And we did it, and it did well.
It did great, actually.
Yes. So I hope that the future for Cal Kestis is a bright one and we get more games. Obviously, this is talking about a possible third one before the second one has even come out.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited for the possibilities and the teases that we're slowly getting for Jedi Survivor. Mm-hmm. Now let's take a little bit of a break and we'll hop back in and talk about some new Star Wars movies, maybe.
Only different in your mind. You must unlearn what you have learned.
Lucasfilm is in the news recently for Star Wars for trademarking some new Star Wars names. And let's jump in and talk about
What that means?
what the heck, Star Wars?
What?
So what's super surprising to me is the last Star Wars movie we got was Rise of Skywalker.
Ugh.
And I think that, what was that, 2019? I believe it was Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, 2019.
Wow.
We got that in 2019, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And for a while, we were getting a Star Wars movie every 2 years, I think it was. So we had Force Awakens in 2015. We had Rogue One. That was 2016. So that was the next year. That was a yearly one. And then we had 2018, which was The Last Jedi. And then like 2017 was The Last Jedi. So we had 2015, 2016, 2017. Rogue One came out in 2018. No, it was Solo that came out in 2018. And then 2019, we got Rise of Skywalker. So we, for like a solid good while, for 4 years, right? 2015, 5 years-ish, we got a Star Wars movie every year.
They spoiled us.
And now, I think they burn us out, honestly.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
They were doing too much, and the quality wasn't quite there. Storytelling just really failed. They didn't really have a plan on exactly where to go. They did way too much. They finished off what they had planned to do, and then like, okay, let's wait a second. Mandalorian, you're doing great. Keep on what you're doing, buddy. This is making us a bunch of money.
But wait, can we replicate that in several other things? No.
Exactly. Let's try it again. Nope, that didn't work.
No.
Let's try it again. Nope, that didn't work. Let's try. Nope.
Stop.
So
Hold up.
I think we're getting the point of Lucasfilm where they're just like, let's take a step back. Let's reevaluate what really makes a Star Wars movie. What's our focus and our strategy for the future of the franchise? And let's make some... I think we're going to see a lot more spin-offs and TV shows, obviously. I don't think that we'll see as big of a galaxy-spanning thing as we did with the Skywalker saga.
Yeah.
But let's get to the news here. Newly registered trademarks filed by Lucasfilm have fans speculating that a new Star Wars project may soon be announced. There were some trademarks for multiple terms tied to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And let's see, Multiverse Saga, Captain America New World Order, blah, blah, blah. On top of that, Lucasfilm filed 3 similar trademarks. One is called The Great Circle, the other is called The Galactic Circle, and the third is Circle of Resistance. I saw a few titles that were like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a trilogy of films. No, they're probably like, we want circles to be here somehow.
Yeah.
Let's kind of just spray and pray. The Great Circle, the Galactic Circle, the Circle of Resistance. Yeah.
What's up with the circles?
I'm not sure. I think of those 3, Circle of Resistance is my favorite. But and
It makes me
out
feel
of
like I'm in
context,
kindergarten. Everyone get in the great circle. Yay!
Circle of Resistance could be quite inappropriate, though. So I don't know if they necessarily want to go that route.
Oh, no.
The Great Circle, the Galactic Circle. Galactic Circle, it's interesting. This article says, while none of these trademarks are explicitly tied with Star Wars, the terms used on the second and third trademarks include some terms commonly associated with the franchise. This is one of those things, too, that they'll kind of just add in case they want to do something like that. But usually it's made it pretty far in the process if they're already starting to trademark things. Usually that comes a little bit later. This article says all 3 trademarks are classified under 9 and 41 labels. Looking back at Lucasfilm's previous trademarks for frame of comparison, the internal classifications of some of these trademarks under the 9 and 41 labels match up with the previous series and films developed by Lucasfilm in the Disney era, with Rebels, The Force Awakens, Rogue One, The Last Jedi, Resistance, Galaxy of Adventures, Mandalorian, Rise of Skywalker, Jedi Temple Challenge, Bad Batch, The Book of Boba Fett, and Obi-Wan Kenobi having one or both classifications along with upcoming or announced projects. So the trademark is indeed for an upcoming show or movie. The earliest we may get confirmation is Lucasfilm panel at D23, which is coming up here soon. I think D23 is in the... when is that? September. So D23 will be in September. We may see some gaming news there, but with how many freaking delays and cancellations we're getting, I highly doubt it.
Sad day.
When you hear the galactic, I've forgotten it already.
That's not good.
The Great Circle, the Galactic Circle, and the Circle of Resistance. Obviously,
I can't think of Circle of Resistance the same anymore.
Obviously, you were harkened back to childhood. Mm-hmm. What? I'm interested. I'm intrigued about why the circles, because that's the only thing that is like all there. We have the Circle of the Force, like Circle of Resistance. I could see it maybe being pretty early on in the Force resistance side of things. The Great Circle definitely harkens back to maybe something based in the High Republic era.
You think so?
Maybe. I think that's an era that they're really passionate about. Obviously, the books are greatly expanding that, but I could totally see more of the High Republic being expanded in games if they ever came out, or the TV shows and the movies.
The wordage, though, galactic and resistance, I don't know. It just seems very much like the eras that we've already seen.
Mm-hmm. That's true, yeah.
And
because resistance, galactic.
Yeah.
Unless they're harkening back to our preconceived notions of that era.
Right.
I could also maybe see this being an animated something. Kind of, they mentioned resistance. That's something that I could see it being tied into. The Galactic Circle, Great Circle, Circle of Resistance. I could totally see that being more like maybe an anthology of animated things or something animated.
Yeah, I could see that.
It doesn't scream like big time TV show or movie to me.
No, in fact, it sounds quite youthful to me.
Yes.
So I could see it being.
It's the Great Circle.
Right. I don't know. I could see it being more for younger audiences, maybe.
Mm-hmm. That's the vibe I'm getting from it as well. It doesn't seem quite there in terms of like, man, this is going to be big. It's going to be boom. I mean, even like the Tales of the Jedi, that's like pretty punchy. But when I hear like the Great Resistance.
Circle of Resistance. Or is it Circle?
Yeah.
What?
Galactic Circle, Great Circle, and Circle of Resistance.
Yeah.
So I can't even, totally blocked out the circle side of things there.
Circles and round
circles are just very
things
childish, okay?
They're very prominent, I would say, in Star Wars. I mean, you have the Death Star, which is
it's a big circle.
But it's not necessarily a circle. It's just round.
It's actually, it's more of an oval. So the Great Oval, it has actually, it's aspherical. It's not.
My mind is being so blown right now.
It's wider on the edges than it is on the top. It's not a perfect circle.
What?
Mm-hmm. Side tangent. I wish we had like a second camera that we could talk to side tangents in. That would be great. Side tangent. I started the documentary on Disney Plus, Light and Magic. It goes into the history of Industrial Light and Magic, the FS special effects VFX company that is. They're just like legends in the game. They made all of the Pirates of the Caribbean's effects. They did all the effects. They were founded for Star Wars. George Lucas founded them so he could actually have people working on effects, because around that time they didn't actually have a huge whole economy around effects that they do now. It was super popular in like the 50s and the 60s, and then the 70s it fell out of vogue. Just wasn't cool. So a lot of those production houses closed unless they were part of something like Disney where they could actually fulfill that. So for Star Wars, he founded Industrial Light and Magic. But the thing that I want to point out, and I'm making a short about this right now, some of the scenes in Star Wars are matte paintings, and I did not realize it. I'm going to put the pictures here. They're talking about this one guy who did matte paintings for a lot of it. And it just blew my mind. The scenes that I was convinced were sets. I've watched Star Wars since birth, and I never noticed this. I've worked on big films. I've seen how they make things. I'm an editor and a designer, and it took me until this moment to realize it's a matte painting.
Wow.
It's crazy.
So next time we watch through Star Wars, you're going to be like, that's
I'm going to be pointing out all of the matte paintings.
You'll be doing the Leonardo DiCaprio thing.
All of you lovely people, if you're watching this on video, can see it, but I'm going to show Sydney now. So this is the matte painting for this scene. It's the hangar in Yavin. Most of it is, this is all matte.
What?
This is all matte. This is the actual shot itself. They extended the Y-wing, most of it, as a painting. And then here's the other one.
That's incredible.
This one here, this is all matte. This is the real shot. It's the scene where they're waiting for the elevator with Chewbacca. Basically, 60%, no, I'd say like 75% of the frame is a matte painting.
Is that flat?
Yes. It's a flat matte painting.
Whoa. Whoa. Ah, oh my gosh.
It's incredible.
That's amazing.
All of you listening/watching this should pause the podcast, hop in to Disney Plus, watch Light and Magic, because it was mesmerizing. So good. My mind was blown throughout it. And Industrial Light and Magic just seems super cool. Obviously, we all assumed it was awesome, but it's even cooler now seeing a lot of the behind-the-scenes exclusive footage and pictures of the early foundations of Industrial Light and Magic. And it's directed by Lawrence Kasdan, he was the writer and director, I believe, for Empire Strikes Back, as well as Solo, a Star Wars story.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Highly recommend it. You need to watch it now. It's incredible.
Right now.
Yes. Go. Yeah, so the first, for audio listeners, the first image was the Y-wing shot in the Yavin hangar. And is complete, like most of it, they extended the Y-wing through matte painting. The majority of the shot is a matte painting. And then they have just this little window of practical. The second one, like I said, is the scene where they're going to the elevator with Chewbacca as they're dressed up as stormtroopers. And 75% of that shot is a matte painting.
That's incredible.
Also, a little fun tidbit here. There's a couple ways that you can do matte painting. You can overlay it in post, or you can actually shoot through it. So you can shoot the scene with basically this piece of glass they've painted on, affixed with an arm to the camera at the perfect distance and position to the camera itself, to where it all matches up. They did that a lot with like animation, like a A lot of those like parallax and depth in early Disney animation, that was painted on glass, and then they shot through that glass with the different motions. Mind-blowing. I had to immediately tweet about this because my jaw was 3 stories down on the ground. I was flabbergasted for probably until now. I'm still flabbergasted by it. So yes, highly recommend that. But also, I think just kind of tie that earlier conversation together. Galactic Circle, Great Circle, Circle of Resistance seems just... I don't think it's going to be a big deal when it does get announced. If it does get announced, because again, they're trademarking things, they may not yet use it. It may just be it may show up in a book. Who knows? But I don't think it's going to be massive.
Aren't like all of the logos or like the resistance fighters and they're all round. They're all circular.
Yes. The emblems.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of circles in Star Wars.
Circles are everywhere. They're taking over. Yeah.
Very interesting to see where they're taking that, because who knows?
Coming to a podcast soon, we're going to point out all of the circles in Star Wars. It'll take 17 years.
I'm definitely going to be looking.
Oh my gosh, there's a circle. But I think with that, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Star Wars Uplink. We greatly appreciate your support, and we appreciate all of you for sticking with us. And look forward to some exciting things on the podcast. We're switching things up, changing up the format, as well as cooking up some... Dude, I have a whole document of ideas for the podcast.
Oh my.
And I've already begun reaching out to some guests. So hopefully they say yes, but just kind of detailing more. Expect more kind of like put together, well-researched ideas coming to the podcast. I'm really excited. Stepping up the quality, implementing the video aspect, and I think there's some exciting times ahead for the podcast. We'd greatly appreciate it if you left us a review. We haven't had a new review in a while, and we would greatly appreciate that. Hear your thoughts, as well as get new listeners. And hey, share us with your friends and families. And if you are going on a trip anywhere, make everyone listen to Star Wars Uplink. It's always appreciated. And then pull it up on the podcast. Like, when we first started the podcast, when I would go to like a Sam's Club or something like that, I would go to the phones that they have on display, and I would just pull up the podcast on all of the tabs and everything.
You would.
Yeah. Though we did go to the Denver one, and I went to do that thing, and it was already up. Someone had pulled it up on there.
What?
Yeah. So
They just knew you were coming.
exactly.
They're like, well, he's coming anyway. That's cool though.
Yeah, it was awesome. I was blown away.
Yeah.
But again, thank you all so much for listening, and as always, may the Force be with you.